Hi, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. Oh, good. I see a few of you on the line. If you are here, please just type a little something in the chat box so that I know you're there. I'm going to get my colleague, Jimmy Davis, on the line. So just give me a sec here. Hey, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Now I can. I think I'm unmuted now.
Okay. All right, good. Well, we're live. Here we go. It looks like we've got a lot of great people on the line as well. All right, so let's just dive in because we're live on Facebook as well. So we'll have some people connecting with us there. So I should probably explain who you are because people are like, who is this man and why is he on my Q&A? So today, the purpose of the Q&A today is to answer questions that you guys have about the coaching certification. You guys, I'm so flattered. We got so many applications for the coaching certification program, and we are really having a hard time getting to everybody. And when I say we, I'm talking about Jimmy and I. Jimmy is helping me. He's a really good friend of mine. He's actually a colleague. We met at it was a live event for internet marketers. It was a private event, and he was speaking. And he taught me this technique that it's just made my business what it is. And so he and I have just had a really great relationship. He's helped me a lot from the beginning of my career up until now. And so I brought him on board to just help me go through and to find the right people that are going to be the best coaches for this next coaching certification round. So we thought that we would just talk today about kind of what we're looking for and a little bit more details about the program and just answer any questions that you guys have. So you should be able to chat. You should be able to type some messages in the chat box. Okay, I see Melissa says I'm here. Rachel says I'm here. Awesome. If we can get some more people, just so I know, kind of have an idea of who else is here. If you can just type your name in here. Sherry's here. Hi, Sherry. Awesome. So this is the way that you'll be able to ask questions, and everybody can see your questions. So when you're asking a question to us, you're asking a question for the group as well. And so Jimmy and I will both, can you see these, Jimmy, too?
Yeah, I see alerts popping up, Chad. I'm sure I can click on it.
You can
yeah, there we go.
Pop your screen. Okay. So we'll be checking these, and we'll hopefully be able to answer all of them and take it from there. So I guess I want to just start out by saying again, kind of talking about my motivation for running this coaching certification. Coaching certification is something that I have been running since the time I started my business. So for 5 years I've been doing it. I didn't do it last year. And I told this story in the beginning of the Tapathon, but I'll just kind of say it again if you weren't there. I was traveling last summer and I was in Asia, and I had this pain in my back, and it had been in my back for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and it was getting worse. And it got to the point where I actually couldn't fully breathe. And I started Googling, where this area is. And it was like my liver. And I had this flood of thoughts that went through my head about oh my God, what if this is something really serious? What if this is a tumor or cancer or something like that? And I was laying in the back of this cab because I couldn't sit up straight. And the thoughts that flashed through my head were, my biggest regret would be to not have more people teaching this work. And that was a really big aha moment for me, because I realized how, I know I love this work. This is my passion. It's always been my passion since I was 15 years old. I've been studying this, but I didn't know how important it was for me to pass on the torch and to actually train other people in this method. And, my heart sank for all the women that struggle with this issue, that don't have a solution, that don't have answers, when I'm holding it inside me. And the, maybe 50 some odd coaches that have been trained up until this point, we're the only people on the planet that hold this key inside of us. And so it just started feeling really bad and almost even selfish of me to not share this and to not train more people. And so that just really lit a fire under me. And since I've been back, I have made a lot of changes to the coaching certification program. You'll probably notice if you've been following me for a while, it's now called the Tapping for Weight Loss coach certification course. So we've got that domain. I've trademarked Tapping for Weight Loss, which I'm really, really excited about. And I've really stepped into this ownership of, you know what, I'm really the only person that knows how to teach tapping for weight loss. And so, you know, I'm sure as a coach and as a helper and a healer, which most of you guys are, you understand the significance of that. You know, sometimes it's like, you can even see with me, I'm still struggling, really, really owning my power and owning, you know, this is the thing that I do really well and I need to share it. And so, I'm really excited about this class. We have already so many amazing people in the program. We were only going to take 10, but we had so many applicants. I decided to take 10 more, but I wanted to do this Q&A with you to just answer your questions and to also have Jimmy kind of connect with you and tell you about a little bit more about the business side and kind of what we're looking for there. So Jimmy, do you want to kind of like introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, first, as you were speaking, I was kind of struck by something, and I have to acknowledge you in front of everyone.
You always do that. You're such a big acknowledger. I love that about you.
Yeah. So whenever I see people that have an audience or people that they speak to in whatever medium that is, it's very rare to have someone who's for other people, and you really kind of have that at your heart. But if you can't tell from Brittany the way she's speaking, if you see other people they speak, they have like notes they're looking at or talking points they want to talk. Britt can talk for like 30 minutes and it's like she's on crack or cocaine, because this is actually her mission. And it's really cool to see. It's very, very rare. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that.
Thanks to me.
I got to tell my story of Britt and how you did witchcraft on me.
Yeah. Okay.
We met at an event, and then we both did a mastermind, invite only, right? It was you had to be a 6 or 7 figure marketer to go to it. And I was struck by 2 things when I saw Britt speak. My first thought was, oh, Britt's doing this airy-fairy stuff. That was my first thought. My second thought was like, wow, this girl is brilliant. Like, you know, she just commanded the room, and internet marketing's tough, really tough. But the stuff you knew was absolutely crazy. But let me tell the story. Britt can kind of tell us in a good way. When we met, we got to know each other. I was taking like 5 different things. Like I was taking caffeine all day. I never smoked cigarettes, but I would chew nicotine gum. I was drinking all the time. I was taking Xanax at night. And you did some tapping on me, and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe in EFT. I didn't believe in that stuff because I tried Gary Craig. I tried Brad Yates like 10, 15 years ago, and I just wrote it off. I just didn't get any results from it. So when you're doing it on me, I remember thinking to myself, I stopped believing in Santa Claus a long time ago, things that weren't real. So when you did the tapping, I remember like having this sense of relief that I've never felt before. No drug could kind of give it to me. But the craziest thing was when I went back, I was on this stuff for like, I don't know, off and on for 4 or 5 years, always taking stuff for my anxiety. When I went back, I lowered my caffeine. I still have my caffeine just a little bit. I stopped the nicotine gum. I stopped drinking pretty much all the time, and I didn't take Ambien or Xanax at night. And so, you know, what I called stress was really anxiety that I was kind of coping for. But the craziest thing of all, I've tried everything to lose weight, everything under the sun, juice fast, juice cleanses, low carb, low sugar. But 3 months after my trip, when I went to a doctor for a physical, I was down 28 pounds. You remember kind of how bloated I was?
Yeah, totally.
So I know that's my story of Britt doing witchcraft. Like it kind of turned.
I don't even think he still knows what exactly we do here.
I just know Britt's a superhero and does witchcraft. It's crazy.
Yeah. But Jimmy is so great at the business side of things. And, for me, being in the tapping industry, that's a very, very niche community. I don't have a huge following. And, when I started this, I did a big launch, but I kind of just had this like tiny little list that, I had been using since I started my business. And most people, when, I get up in internet marketing conferences and I share what I do and what my numbers are, they go, wait, you're doing how much with what kind of list? And, that is really because of Jimmy and the things that he taught me. I cannot tell you. And it's so much more rewarding. The way that he taught me to do business is to work with smaller groups of people for a higher dollar amount. And I cannot even tell you, as a coach, it is so much more rewarding because you get that connection with those people. We're not selling $100 programs to, 500 people at a time. I get to work with 10 or 20 people at a time and really make an impact in their lives. And that, for me, has been so much more rewarding as a coach, not just financially, but also emotionally. And so anyway, a lot of that comes from you. And that's why you're here kind of helping me with this, because the business. I mean, you taught me this business. So who's going to be successful and who's not going to be successful. And so when you apply to work with the coaching certification, or if you apply to work in the program just with me, you'll chat with him first, because he really, really understands success and he really understands the secrets of success. Jimmy, I think, what did you make your first million when you were like 12 or something?
12 or 13. No, 25. 25.
Oh, okay. 25. Yeah. But this guy knows success. So that's why I keep him around in my circle. And so I'm really, really honored to have him here today with us. I'm just looking over my notes to see what we're going to talk about. So, Can
I make a note while you're looking at what you said, what I think is really powerful? Because I got my start, and I really found success when I started doing coaching, when I started charging higher dollar amounts. But the thing that became so rewarding was it was a lifestyle where I got to work with the exact people I was able to help. I spent my time doing that. I didn't spend my time building a business, putting out fires, or doing customer support, or emailing back and forth, or doing little things. I spent my time working with people that needed my help the most. And so my time was that's like winning the lottery. Spending your time working with people, and the money's great, but that's not why I do it. And I could bet $1 billion that's not why you do it either. But being able to spend the time doing what you want, when you want to do it, with the people you want, there's not a better feeling in the world. There's just absolutely not.
I remember before I started my business, my audience knows this story of I had to move back in with my dad and I ran out of money, and it was like, oh my God, I felt so bad about myself. But I remember thinking, I want to have friends who are tappers. Like, I want to know more people. I'm the only person that knows about this crazy thing called tapping, and I try to introduce it to everybody. Like, I want to be friends with those people. I want that to be my community. And now fast forward, I mean, even just, I think a year later that I kind of set that intention, all my friends were tappers. And it's amazing, when you're so close and when you're so passionate about something that is so transformative, and you have such a personal story with it. It is so fun to be able to share that with other people who know what the fuck you're talking about and aren't looking at you like you're a crazy person and doing witchcraft on them. No offense. So I want to kind of get into just the qualities of the people that we're looking for, just so that you guys know, a lot of people have applied, and I don't think we've been able to connect with everybody. So I thought that we would just talk a little bit about who I'm looking for. And, the first thing that I find makes a really successful coach is somebody who's already had the problem, and even more successfully, is struggling with the problem still. And I know that sounds crazy because so many coaches talk themselves out of doing this because they don't feel like they're there yet or they're not ready yet. You'll never feel like you're there yet. You'll never feel like you're perfect enough yet. And so I'm really looking for those people who are maybe having this struggle, but they're willing to start before they're ready. And not to say you need to start and, you know, get your message out there and be seen as an expert right now, but taking the stand and saying, you know what, I am still struggling with this, but I know it is in my future to teach this. Like, I am so passionate. You can feel it in your bones. You know, it's the kind of thing that you just feel in your bones that you know you're meant to do. And, you know, I'm saying that because that's my experience with this. And all the coaches that I know that are really successful have that same feeling too. Because as Jimmy knows, the money part and the business part, that's the easiest part. Like, we can teach that to you, no problem. The part that's difficult is having the passion and the purpose and the feeling that this is in my bones. And even though I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, I know in my bones I'm meant to do this. And so, you know, those people right now, if you're watching or, you know, if you applied, like, I really want you to connect with your purpose. And, you know, if you haven't applied yet, definitely apply. You know, what I can say with this is that the money and stuff, all of that finds you, you know, the way, like, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the money, you know, whatever the problems are, like, those things will show up when you know in your bones that you're meant to do something and you take a firm action. You know, I've had coaches that borrow money from their family. I've had coaches that will get a loan. I mean, there are so many solutions to money and time. They hire a nanny, they get a babysitter, they ask somebody for help. You know, there are solutions to the issues that you have. You know, everybody has issues. It's not, you know, doing something massive like this isn't an easy thing, right? Life isn't super easy. There's always going to be friction. But I find that people who are really, really meant to do this, the way opens up for them. So I just want to encourage you to really, really trust that if you're this person that I'm talking to. What else? Like, what else from you, Jimmy? Like, what else are you seeing with people when you talk to them about, like, what makes them successful and, you know, the right people to apply versus, you know, the people that really aren't right?
Well, I'll touch upon the first thing. So that was a really good point. It seems like everyone wants to be, what's the best word to say? I see a lot of, not fakers out there, not posers, but I just see a lot of people out there pushing themselves as, like, okay, now I transform myself, so now I'm good. Everything's great. So I'm going to teach everyone, listen to me. The best people to follow are the ones that are like, all right, here's what I'm struggling with today. I'm working on it. You know, like, I remember talking to you the other day. You're like, these are the two things I'm working on today. Right. You know, that the sign of leadership to me is vulnerability, where you're able to look at yourself and constantly, I call it constant and never ending improvement. And those are the people to follow. Because, you know, they don't hit a point. It's like, okay, now I'm going to start teaching this stuff. It's like, I'm going to teach what I know. I'm going to teach the things that I know while also building up. I find those are the people that are the most successful, because it translates to, you know, in internet marketing, things change all the time.
Yeah.
If you, like, just figure out Google AdWords and then something changes, you know, it's kind of tough. You got to switch. Always just got to be constantly improving. But this is going to sound cliche, but the people that I find the most successful are the ones where it's not about the money. I mean, like you said, people kind of hate me for saying it, but the money is the easy part. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're doing coaching, if you're doing anything with a high dollar value, if you can't turn a profit, you should have failed kindergarten once you know kind of the science behind it, because it's relatively easy. You know, if you're selling something for $50, you got to spend, you know, less than $50 to make that. But if you're selling your time for high dollar, I mean, you could spend more than anybody else and still turn a profit. That's the easy part. But the people that really make it are the ones where they have a mission, they have a reason for doing it. they have a future they're living into. My favorite analogy, this is a minute-long analogy, if I could share it.
Yeah, sure.
But it's one of my favorites. Who you are in any given moment is the future you're living into. Did I ever tell you this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like it? You don't like it?
I like it. No, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the analogy. Let's say you're at a desk job, right? I know you've worked one way long ago.
Yeah.
But let's say you're at a desk job and it's 4:30 and you get off at 5. And so this is for everyone too. You say you get off at 5 and it's Friday. Your boss comes and gives you a stack of papers and it says you can't leave here until you get this stuff done. So you're not going to get out of there till 8. How do you feel in that moment?
Like shit.
You feel like, oh, I didn't know we could say shit. That's awesome.
I swear.
You feel pretty shitty.
Yeah.
What I didn't tell you is you have 2 tickets in your in your drawer for you and your significant other to go to Hawaii or your dream destination. Now, how do you feel? You're like, bring it on.
Way better,
right?
yeah.
So fast forward 2 weeks in the future. You're on the beach with your significant other. You're having a Corona or your drug of choice. I don't judge. And you're loving life. But then your significant other comes over and taps you on the shoulder and says, sweetie, we have to leave. And it hits you that you have to go back to your desk job. And so the whole point is you could be in a shitty situation, but super happy because the future you're living into is paradise, right? You can be in paradise, but in a really shitty mood because the future you're living into is a shitty one. I keep this.
Now that we give you this, you're full of the S bombs.
Yeah, this is brought to you by the word shit. So who you are in any given moment is the future you're living into, and the people that I see that truly fulfilled, truly successful, they are constantly, moment by moment, create a future that's worthy of them living into, moment by moment, and that's with their business, that's with their life. And those are the ones that really have a mission of the future I'm living into is who can I move, touch, and inspire today? Who can I, they just have this mission. Like you, like I know, with your trauma and stuff you had in the past, and your thing is you wanted to heal that. And it was just like, I need to get this stuff out to the world. That's the future you're living into, and that's going to fuel you. The people that I've talked to that are the best, they can't stop talking about who they want to help. Who their people are. The ones I don't see that are fit are like, do you think I can do this? Or, how much money do you think I'll make? That sort of thing. They're the ones like, here's who I want to, here's the type of people I want. I find this is the best stuff I do. If I could touch these people, and it's different. Like, I think you would agree. You want your coaches to have their vision, not just
totally.
Be a Brittany Watkins weight loss coach. I think you would have failed them.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. I mean, even though they're using the Tapping for Weight Loss coaching as a title, like everybody's going to have their own kind of flavor of that. And, the reason that people follow, hey, your video's shaking a bit, just FYI.
Oh, I hit the table. Sorry.
The reason that I do so well with the techniques is that I learned a bunch of shit and then made it my own, and so like I'm totally open to people having their own experience and their own kind of flavor and way of, introducing this information. I of course think mine's the best, but there, of course, like there's always room for improvement. And, by constantly trying and testing things and being curious and saying like, oh, I wonder if this will work. And then sharing that information with your clients, that's how we help people even more deeply than we can now. So yeah, I totally, a lot of people will come in and they'll say, I love how you do it, but I would change it in this way. And I think that's great. I think that's perfect. We're using tapping for weight loss, and, whatever flavor that looks like for you and your own business is what I want you to have.
Yeah. I would add a question to the application. It's like, okay, let's imagine a year into the future, you're in your business, your money's not an option because you're doing well, and you could go anywhere, do anything. With that in mind, who's the audience that you're helping? If you had everything else taken care of, who are you helping? Who do you want to help? What is your mission? I think that'd be a really good question to ask, because that narrows it down big time for me.
Yeah.
Who's your audience? Like who? Like, what's your mission? Who is it?
Yeah. Well, let's take some questions. If you guys, it looks like we've got a fair amount of people on the line. Just type your questions in here. What specific questions do you have about the program? While you guys are thinking, I'll just kind of rattle off some of the things that I know people have asked me. So the coaching certification is a 6-month program. We have a 3-month business school training that's on the end of that. So in total, it's a 9-month program. Now, some people need to have their own personal transformation with their own emotional eating. And what I can tell you about that is that the people who are still struggling with their weight, who join the coaching certification and work with my internal coaches. So every year after I finish a coaching certification, I will actually hire internally the best coaches from that round. So I personally, the people that work for me are the best coaches. They have to go through 2 years of coaching certification, and usually they've had a year where they had their own transformation. So they've been in my circle for 3 years plus, and they're the best. And so, when people need their own transformation, we hook them up with our coaches, with my coaches internally, so that they can be working through their own issues with really, really highly qualified people. In addition to that, we have coaches, we'll have the coach certification program, and we buddy you up, we pair you up with other people in the course. You guys, the people that are in the class right now, I mean, some people, actually everybody has a lot of experience with tapping. So it's really, really cool. I mean, you're working with people who, they know tapping really well. I have a few people that are beginners, and there actually makes no difference. There was one woman from, not last year because I didn't do it, the year before. And I actually met her in a class that I was in. She started following me on Facebook, and then she applied for the coaching certification. And she had no idea what tapping was before she started. And I remember kind of being nervous about it. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if it's going to work well for her. I don't know if she'll, lose any weight, or, I didn't really know what to expect. So I sent her the tapping solution book in the mail. I'm like, look, this is my gift to you. You're going to do this program. I want you to at least understand the basics of tapping. Within the 6-month period, she dropped like 40 pounds. It was like 20 something kilos. She got listed in a magazine in Sweden. She lives in Sweden, as like the top coach in Sweden for weight loss. I mean, she just did so beautifully well with the program. So, it really doesn't matter how much experience you have with tapping or not. Although we obviously have people that have been in the tapping industry for a while and have been around. And so that's great. But we're going to pair you with other people in the course. And obviously, as you guys are working with each other, you're going to be also transforming your relationship with your food, your body. And if you don't need to work on your food or your body, like if you've kind of already done that and you've got that solved, you can start working through the blocks that you have on starting a business, because that'll be the next step for you. And definitely there will be blocks that will come up. The techniques that I teach you, we apply for weight loss, but I'm also going to teach this training. This is something that I've never taught before, because I've been kind of playing with it myself, is how to apply these methods for really every area of your life. So it doesn't matter what comes up for you. You can use one of the techniques to solve it. I want you to become experts at learning how to use these techniques, and also knowing which technique to apply when. That's one of the reasons that we're able to get such great results with people, is that there's different techniques for every tiny issue. So, for somebody who has food cravings and they're all alone at home, that's one issue. That's one technique. For somebody that has food cravings and they're out at parties, that's a completely different technique. For somebody that overeats, they eat everything that's on their plate, that is an entirely different technique. When you eat emotionally, completely different technique. When you self-sabotage, completely different technique. So you have to learn about all these different techniques and how and when to apply them. But what I love about this program, and knowing this information just for me personally, is that no matter what issues come up, you can apply one of the techniques and have success. It's not that easy to start a business. There's a lot of blocks, especially for a helper, for people that, like, for somebody like me and like you, that we just really want to help people to be able to stand in your power and go, you should listen to me, I'm an authority. That's kind of a big, scary thing. How do you think I did it? With these techniques. So every time an issue came up, I was able to go, okay, wait, hold on. That's the issue. And then I applied one of my techniques, and it wasn't just regular tapping, because I tried to do regular tapping for all these blocks and it didn't work. It wasn't until I started applying my techniques for all of these blocks that I was really able to have success and really own my power. And I continue to do so. You know, I shared with you guys earlier, I wasn't really able to own the fact that I'm going to be the tapping for weight loss authority until just recently. So, you know, for me, it's always a work in progress as well. But the reason that I felt so sad when I was thinking about if I died, all this information would go with me, is because I feel like I have these golden tools that can help so many people in every area of your life. Even with relationships, there's literally no reason for you to ever be stuck ever again if you have these tools. So anyway, that's kind of the program. That's the transformation in the end after the 6 months. So whether or not you need personal transformation will depend on if you have private coaching. You'll also be going through the coaching certification, which is every week you'll have a group call with me. 1 week we'll be learning a new technique, and the next week will be a Q&A. So you'll actually have 2 weeks. I'm going really slow. I could teach this program in 3 months, but I want you guys to have time to digest the material, to really sit with it, to have your own experiences, to do as much tapping as you can with your buddy or buddies, and to be able to come the next week with really, really specific questions, and then have a whole nother week to implement the information that I shared with you. So that's the way that the coaching certification program is going to go. And then at the end of that, we'll take kind of a month break to like rest and recuperate. And then we'll start the business school training. And that works the same way. So every other week, there's a module where I'm teaching you. This is basically like if I had to start my business over from scratch, based on today, marketing today, this is what I would do. See, when I started my business 5 years ago, the industry was totally different and different techniques worked then. So every year I update this training to make sure that I give you guys really, really current stuff. So, you know, like this is like, these are the techniques that I teach my girlfriends who are just starting out here. Like, hey, what should I do? Like, how should I start a business? I have this message. This is what I teach the people that are close to me. So I'm going to be sharing you this information. This is what we're currently doing now to grow the business, to make sales and all of that. And every other week, you'll have a module and then a Q&A, a module and then a Q&A. And it goes like that for the 3 months. Also for VIP business school students, I'm going to be doing Voxer coaching, which if you don't know what Voxer is, it's like the best app ever. It kind of works like next to like a walkie-talkie on your phone. So you push a button. So you download an app and we're connected on it, and you push a button. So like say you're working on your website and you're like, okay, I don't know what to put at the top of this page. Or like I came up with I call it your hot hook. Here's my hot hook, but like, I don't know, it sounds kind of weird and I'm not really sure that I love it. These are things that entrepreneurs can sit and like waste time with for months, you know, getting it right, getting it perfect. If you don't have someone that you trust to bounce these ideas off, even something small, like what should the title of my web page be, you will stay stuck and frozen for a really long time. And so Voxer was my solution that I just implemented a couple years ago for those people that really want that connection with me. They want my advice. They want my opinion, like right there in the moment. You know, you can push a button and leave me a voice message and say, hey, Brittany, I have, you know, these 2 things on my website. It's this and this. Which one do you like better? Or, hey, I'm feeling really stuck with this. You know, I don't know what to do. Or, oh my God, my webinar's tomorrow and, you know, I'm having these problems. What should I do? And I'm able to kind of go back and forth with you and coach you. I'm able to do the same. I send you a voice message and I say, this is what I would do, blah. So the reason that that's so powerful is not because I'm a marketing genius. It's because you need somebody that you trust to be able to check in with, to be able to bounce ideas off of, right, Jimmy? I mean, this is the part that people get stuck with all the time, right?
I have like 5 different things I wanted to say, but that is a really good tool. 90% of the people that I work with, they get stuck on something, which is never the issue. It's what's my title I should be, and then they wait a month, or you know, like you said, what should I use for the headline, and then they wait a month because they don't. But it's a human instinct. It's completely natural to feel that, and to be able to have you right there There's nothing better to have, trusted authority, someone as good as you at this stuff to have your input right then and there.
Yeah, it's so powerful. I mean, it's so powerful. It saves you literally
Love
years.
boxing.
Years. I know, I love Voxer too. But like, I can remember, so before I really like pushed the button and like said I'm going to launch my business and launched my website live, I created, actually, do you remember when you looked at the archives and you found the old versions of my website? I don't know if you ever remember doing that. It was a long time ago.
It sounds like something I would do, but I don't remember.
There's probably 7 different versions of my website prior to 2011 when I actually even launched myself, because I spent 2 years coming up with all these different versions of my website because I had no mentors. I had nobody to talk to, nobody that I trusted to say, hey, what do you think about this website? Or, hey, what do you think about this way that I'm saying this? And I wasted so much time.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have even been 3 years. It was 2 or 3 years that I spent working on a website. And those are the issues that I see so many entrepreneurs running up against. And that was why we implemented Voxer. And I cannot even tell you, I mean, the difference between the first business school people and then once we started implementing this part, the Voxer coaching, it's night and day. They're able to by the end of the 3-month training, they've got their website up, they've got their first program going, they've got paying clients like coming in the door. So it makes a huge difference. So that's just one of the features of the business school program. Not everybody needs the business school. Like if you already have a business that's flowing and you're like, I got so many clients, we do have people like that. You don't need to take that part. And that's totally cool. You can just come for the coaching training. So, a really common question that a lot of people ask is the price, and so I want to talk about the different layers of that because there's different ways that we can work with you. And you've heard us here, or you've heard me talk about, well, if you need your own personal transformation, we're going to do this for you. If you need business school training, we'll do this for you. If you want that Voxer coaching, we'll do this for you. So what I do for the coaches, we're talking basically the coaches get 3 programs. So personal transformation, if you need that, coaching certification, and then the business school training. All of these 3 programs I sell individually, and they all add up as a total to $16,000. And then when coaches apply and they need all 3 of them, we lower the price. We give a major discount on it to $8,000. You get all the programs for $8,000. Now there's some customizations that we can do within this. Like if you don't actually need the one-on-one coaching, we take that off. So if you don't actually need the business school training, we can take that off. If you want the VIP coaching, we can add that in. So the prices are going to be dependent on what you need. I'm not trying to sell you guys stuff just to make money. I want you to have what you actually need, which is why we do these coaching calls, which is why we do these interview calls. It would be way easier for me to just throw something up online and tell you guys to buy it. It would take way less time. But I really want everybody going through this program to have exactly what they need. So we're able to customize this program for you. If you need a little bit of this, if you need something, different than what we offer, I want to talk to you. I want to really feel you out, and I want to know where you're at so that I can give you exactly what you need. We have payment plans as well. We're not expecting all the money up front. Some people like to just get the payments out of the way. They don't want to have a payment over their shoulder, and that's awesome. We give you a really cool bonus if you do that. But you don't need to do that. I don't charge you guys interest. You can break it up over the course of the training. So those are kind of the biggest questions that I get about the program and about working together. What other questions do you guys have? Just type them in the chat box if you have questions here. We're just answering so many questions that people are like, they can't even. So Sherry says, Brittany, I love the mother hunger story that I shared. Yeah, thank you, Sherry. I'm so glad you connected with that.
Brett, can I add something? I'm kind of, something's in my space, and I was thinking about something that just kind of popped in my head is just the phrase "be unreasonable." Like, take yourself back to the idea of you starting your business, and if I think about it, I might cry and
I
have to
might
quit them.
too.
But think about if you were reasonable and you gave in to that part of you that's like, nah, it's not, I don't know if I can do it. It's probably, I'll wait a couple of years, or I'll wait to do this. I mean, if you were reasonable and you're like, I definitely want to do this, but you gave into any one of the 1,000 things that you didn't want to do.
Oh, I did that. I did that for years and years. I did that for years and years, and I wasted so much time. I could have gotten into this so much earlier and been way further ahead now if I would have just followed my intuition and made some difficult choices. And it really wasn't until I had a mentor, and my mentor for me was my dad. He was been my first mentor, but I needed somebody to hold my hand and to help walk me through. I remember even the day that I didn't want to publish my website because I didn't feel like I was ready. I didn't feel like I'd be able to help anyone. I needed him there to give me the courage to say, Brittany, do you know more about tapping for weight loss than most people on the planet? I was like, well, yes, I do. He's like, well, then what the hell are you waiting for? And it's like, you just need those people with this outside perspective that don't have the emotional intensity that you're going through, because this is personal growth all by itself. You having your issues with weight loss and then having a business, you're going to grow from it. And there's definitely difficult things that come up, but you need somebody to help be there for you, to hold that space for you and to make you feel safe and okay.
Here's my plea, and it's, I think you would tell the same person of you of 3 years ago, or 7, 8 years ago, whatever it is. Just absolutely 100% be unreasonable. If you have any ounce of wanting to do this in the capacity that you're capable of, this is like a lottery ticket. I give this industry 2 years. I've seen EFT, internet marketing, how it's like a cheat code for business, absolute cheat code. If you're in coaching, you know how you can put together a funnel and you know how to do it, where scientifically by the end, they see you as an authority. You're the only person who could solve their problems, and they have to have you. I give it maybe 2 years to where the whole industry is flooded by people doing shitty coaching, subpar coaching. But the way everyone's learning internet marketing, it's going to be super easy. And so it's going to be flooded. And there was a guy who, Seth Godin, he wrote this article. He did a study. It's called 1,000 True Fans. And he did a study, and basically 5 members of a band can make 6 figures a year with 1,000 true fans. Those are the ones that go to concert to concert. They buy the bumper stickers. You don't need to sell 1 million albums. You just need 1,000 true fans. And that is a mantra for the coaching industry. You just need 1,000 of your fans. That's it. You just need a small group of people, and you can live whatever life you want. But I give it 2 years. So if this is something, I'm going to sound like a salesperson, but if it's my plea, because like,
well, we understand this industry so well, and like a lot of these people that are applying, they don't have the experience. They haven't had the opportunities that we've had yet. Yeah.
Just 2 years. If you want to live it on your terms, and you want to work with people who are desperately wanting to work with you, there's words that have not been invented yet that I could say to describe, what's possible. Be unreasonable. And for the people, even if you're not joining, I would say, if this is something you want to do, set a goal, a year, no questions asked. Like, it's going to be done in a year. Because what happens is like, I'll look at this in 3 months, or I'll try this in 6 months. That day's never going to come. It never does. And we think we're different each time. Well, I'm going to look it through this. That never happens. It just does not happen. And so,
actually, you know what? This is coming to me right as you're saying this. The people that I can remember from, because I work with everybody very closely with their business, and I interview every single coach that I've ever had. I jump on a phone call and I talk to them, and before they enter the program, and every single person that I can think of that took a big risk, they borrowed the money, they got a loan, they didn't have it, but they made it happen. Those were the people that were the most successful.
Oh God, yeah.
Right?
Oh, God,
Because
yeah.
it's like the no fail attitude. So even if you don't have all your ducks in a row, you find a way to make it work. It pays off. And I've seen it. And it takes a lot of trust and a lot of courage. And I get that. And I know that part is really hard. But just like I was saying earlier, you know, if you're the type of person that can feel this in your bones, that this is what you're meant to do, I do believe that there are EFT angels. I believe that there are powers. I believe in law of attraction, and whatever you want to say, there are things supporting your work, and that the way will be opened for you. Just as it was for me, you know, the most amazing things have happened. Meeting Jimmy, meeting Dawson Church when I didn't even know who, you know, he had no idea who I was. There's so many amazing things that have happened to me because I knew in my bones I was meant to do this, and the way was opened for me. So yeah, I love what you were saying there. Sorry I had to cut you off because there were the few people that were just circling in my memory of like, they didn't have the money. And I know that it was really, really hard for them. And it was a real struggle for them to do this, but they made it work. And fast forward, they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars leading small groups, group retreats in Costa Rica and in Bali and things like this. Like, I mean, it's so cool to be able to see these women that have succeeded when, you know, all they had was just a feeling and a passion. So
if people knew what was possible, if they knew how close they already are to getting what they want, it's unbelievable. And I want to touch upon your point real quick. A good friend of mine is Jairek Robbins, Tony Robbins' son. And I asked him one time, I was like, because Tony charges high dollars for his stuff. And Jairek, he told me, he's like, oh, I'll bring you to, I forget what live event it was. I'm like, you know, I studied Tony Robbins forever, and now I get to go to an event, live event with his son. I'm going to meet Tony, all these things. And so he had his assistant reach out to me. I'm like, this is awesome. This is amazing. I get to go with Jairek and stuff and charge me full price. And I was like, I thought to myself, and I was like, mentioned something to him. I was like, oh, just joking. I thought you were going to get me in for free. He's like, never. And he was like, Tony gets asked all the time about scholarships and things like that. Without a doubt, and everyone thinks they're different, 99% of people, they don't do anything. They don't put something at risk.
Yep.
Whatsoever. And I find the same way. The ones who, you know, I don't do this anymore, but I've had people sell their car or do something, and those are the best people. And
always,
always, without
always.
a doubt, without a doubt. And there is a phrase I always heard, and I'm going to butcher it. Someone could Google and search it, but it's either like Thomas Franklin or Abraham Lincoln or something.
Thomas Franklin is not even a person. Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin.
Okay.
Thomas Lincoln, one of those guys.
Okay. Abraham Lincoln. Benjamin Franklin.
So when they were, God. When they were kids, this is a great story, and I use this all the time. When they were kids, they were out playing. They came across this fence, and they really wanted to climb it, right? And they didn't know how they were going to do it. They had no idea, but they had their goal set of they were going to go over this fence. And it was getting late, and they didn't know how to do it. And one of the guys took off their hat and threw it over the fence, because they knew if they went home without their hat, they would get an ass whooping. So
wow.
they had to find a way. And so I always ask people of this, it's like, what's your hat that you can throw over the fence to where it's a must, it's going to happen, no questions asked. Like, set a goal of a year. This has to happen.
Yep.
Things take care of themselves. They always do. And with that, I mean, I want to talk about, do you have something to add about that?
No. Great story. I love that analogy.
And I have to say, because you don't, I love you. You don't do a good enough job about this because it's not your part. I'm going to talk about the business school. I've seen a lot of these cert programs and things like that, and it pisses me off where it's like, here's your certificate of your certification, pat you on the head. You're so cute. Good for you. That's amazing. Now go get clients, right?
Oh my God, I hate that. That's why I created the business school. Because the first year that I did this, I was like, oh my God, these people have these amazing tools and nobody knew how to start a business. And it was so frustrating.
And the stuff you do, first of all, you use the funnels that are the best for coaching. and you don't just say, here it is. It's like, no, they get access to you. It's like, all right, let's use this headline. Let's use this funnel. Let's base it on your stuff, the type of coach you want to do. Let's get that up. Not like, okay, here's what type of you go. No, it's like you kind of figure it out with them. And then afterwards, getting clients can be overwhelming for people who, don't have someone kind of doing it with them. But it's really easy when you have someone as fucking brilliant as you who knows this industry and who knows what to do. I mean, you're one of the first people I call when I have a marketing question, right? Because the way your brain works is insane, and you know how to actually get traffic. So once you're certified, now it's time to get your site up. Not here's what I recommend. No, let's get your fucking site up.
Totally. That's totally right.
And sorry for cussing everyone. And then it's a matter of let's get people to your site. Here's how we do it.
And it's so easy now. Wait, I have to cut you off. It is so, like right now, it has never been easier to get in front of your audience. And one of the reasons is because of Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook. And it's a little bit creepy, the amount of information that Facebook has about us. But if you look at it from a marketer's standpoint, it has never been easier to get in front of your audience. You know who they're following, and you can tag them and follow them and have your ad only pop up to people that you know are going to love your stuff. So not only are your marketing expenses so much cheaper, but it's like you're getting in front of your tribe. And the way that it's all set up, I can actually even do it myself. Like, I'm not a technical person. I have an internet company, yes, and we're talking about, I am the shittiest person with technology, literally the shittiest. But over the course of the last 5 years, our team has actually gotten smaller because there are so many things that we can do that I can do on my own with a click of a button. And if I can make a landing page on my own because it's so easy to put things together now, anybody can do that. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Jimmy knows how retarded I am with technology, but it is so easy now. So like there really are no excuses. It is easy. And I do believe this has got an expiration date on it. The industry is becoming flooded. There is a lot more people that are online, and next year it's going to be a different game. It's going to be a different story. Right now, I'll agree with you about the gold rush thing. It's easy. There's tons of opportunity, and I would say now is the time. So.
Yeah. How many people do you have after they go through your stuff? Do they say, I wish I would have done this sooner?
Oh, everybody. Yeah.
Because that phrase, I think it's like a religious phrase where they're like, if you knew who walked beside you as you were walking down the path, you wouldn't feel fear or something like that. If people knew the amount of leverage that is at their fingertips today, I think the ROI for this in terms of if you sell coaching, right? If you just do, hundreds of dollars an hour just for that, then you leverage that into selling $1,000 packages, whether it's working with you, courses, or even masterminds. Those are the most fun, where you have people travel. You want to do something in Costa Rica, and to get those clients, usually think of if you sell something for $50 or something, you got to spend less than $50 to get those clients. When you're selling, and the retention too for coaching is ridiculous. It's the cost per acquisition in marketing. For those of you who don't know, most people, they have a $50 product, they spend over $50 to get that. Then they got to kind of sell some back end stuff. With coaching, the ROI is ridiculous. If you're selling things for, let's say worst case scenario, like $100 an hour or something like that, the amount of money you spend to get that client is really cheap, but then the retention is high because they stay with you all the time. It's those 1,000 fans, right? They constantly stay with you. And then you start charging higher dollars, and you start doing the courses where you're leveraging your time. There is not a drug that can compete with that feeling of having an audience, a group, your tribe that know, love, and trust you and are willing to pay you for it, to where you can do anything you want, and your energy, your time, your everything that you have is just spent healing those people.
Yeah, and doing the thing that you're passionate about, that you love, getting
There's
paid
not a
for
better
it.
feeling, not a better
Yeah.
feeling in the world. So I wrap that up with the business school. People who, like I said, make an unreasonable request of yourself in a year, and to have, this is a lottery ticket for people who are at that place. To have your site up, boom, have traffic come to your site, boom. That is I can't stress that, how that is the easy part. That is the easy part. And so the one thing I don't want is, because I know you got a lot of apps, because people know your track record, they know your history, and they know the amount of success people have. The last thing I want to talk to people is like, oh, yeah, I want to be a coach. It makes a lot of money, right? I know those are the people you told me to kind of look out for.
Yeah.
So if you have a message, if you have a calling in your bones to where you want to heal other people, you want to inspire people in whatever capacity you have, the money is the easy part. And give yourself an unreasonable request. Throw your hat over the fence. Even if you're not doing Brit stuff, but in a year, you got 2 years to where it's a no turning back zone, where it'll be kind of harder than ever to kind of
Well,
get
it'll be different. It'll change. I mean, I'm sure there'll still be opportunities, but it'll be a lot different, and it's a lot easier now than I think it ever will be. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, I'm glad that we were able to do this. I guess we just answered everybody's question while we were chatting. So thank you all, for those of you that were here, that stayed with us. If you haven't filled out your application yet, you can go to tappingforweightloss.com and fill out your application there. And one of us will be speaking to you shortly if you are a good fit.
Can I add, can you, in the application, can you put that you saw this video, you were on this
Oh,
video?
yeah, that would be great.
Because we're going to get a lot. I'd rather talk to everyone who's seen this before any of the others.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. So maybe just in the comment section, or somewhere like really like way at the top where we can really see it, is like, I was on the Q&A call, or maybe next to your name, even your name, I was on the Q&A call. So that we know we can pick you out of the pile. All right. Well, that was good. Thank you for being here, Jimmy, and helping, and love you to pieces as always.
Love you, mean it.
Everybody else, love you, mean it. All right. Tappingforweightloss.com. That's where you can find the application. I'll link it up below this video as well. All right. Chat soon, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.